Hello, my name's Curtis Carl, and I'm here with Tim Gleason. He's the founder and owner of No Theater, which is where we are right now.
Yes, sir.
And we're just going to talk a little bit about the history of the theater and show you around a little bit. That's about it.
Sounds like a plan. It's our lobby. I keep my ceiling up here.
Nice ceiling.
That's not good. Oh, I hit it. Looking for my gun.
So you said that when you started the theater, there was some story about a feather, and a feather had fallen from the ceiling.
The feather came about in the Centenary United Methodist Church, which is just a block from where we're sitting right now. We were working on our set, me and a guy named Larry Gadici, for our very first show. And we were both lamenting that relatives of ours had never seen us on stage. My brother had died before he ever saw me act, and Larry's mom never saw him in a play either. So I jokingly, half-jokingly said, well, now they can come to all the shows because they're angels. So we got down to our final dress rehearsal, and we were wrapping up the rehearsal. We were all sitting around in the first row of the theater, and I was sitting on the lip of the stage. And we were going through what was going to happen the night after when we open the show. You come at 6, I'll be here early, blah, blah, blah. And down from the ceiling, from a tongue-and-grooved ceiling, floats a white feather and landed in the middle of the circle. And me and Larry just looked at each other in amazement. And then we related the story of what we had talked about to the rest of the cast. And Larry, as fate would have it, also happened to be the person who made our posters. So on our very next poster, Larry incorporated a feather, and the feather has been with us ever since. We think that somebody up there is looking out for us and keeping us in good stead. So the feather is now the symbol of No Theater.
Is that also the same time that you came up with a name for the theater?
The name No came from just as, well, it's certainly not as cool a story, but in that very first show, we started in rehearsals and realized that we had to make posters to advertise that we were doing a show, and we didn't have a theater name. So I said to the other members of the cast, what are we going to call ourselves? We have No Theater Productions. Meaning N-O. I went home that night, and it dawned on me that we could say No Theater Productions. So I wrote it on the back of a napkin, brought it back to rehearsal, and held it up and said, how about No Theater Productions? And everybody was like, yeah! So that's how we got the name. Now, for the past 21 years, I put up with the torture of, is that no? No. It's no. Japanese? No? No. No. So I've learned to respond to that without hitting people. But through the years, it's come to mean more than we even meant at the beginning, because if you look up the word no, it means to understand and to experience. And that's certainly what we want people to do. So we've grown into the name. Where it was silly at the beginning, it now has great meaning to us.
So, tell me about the ghosts.
The ghosts. Well, we have. We'd like to believe, at least, that we have some theater ghosts hanging around. We're in our basement now. If you didn't pick up on that, the ghosts are smart enough to know not to hang around down here. This is where we hide all the pieces of furniture and things that turn into different worlds when we build our sets. And through the years, we've collected many things, some of which we use and some of which just take up a lot of space. But getting back to the ghosts, we'd like to think there are people that pass that we know, that they come and inhabit the theater at night, which is, if you go into any theater, you'll notice that there's always a light left on overnight. And that is so that the ghosts and other inhabitants of the theater can perform their shows. And it's called a ghost light. Now, we use a light on top of our piano, but in some theaters you'll actually see a single light bulb on a stand, which is put right in the middle of the stage overnight and is turned on. And there's a couple of playwrights we like to think are hanging around here. One is Leonard Malfi, who is from Binghamton. We've done quite a few of his works. We like to think Leonard's hanging out here. And there's another guy named Harry Katukas from Endicott. Both brilliant writers, right on the cutting edge of the experimental theater explosion back in the 60s. So we like to think Harry and Leonard are here. And I say goodnight to them usually every night when I leave the building. And also our board president, Pat Vaughn, just recently left us. And I know for sure she's here hanging out with us. So, because we deal with the spirit a lot in the world of theater, so we like to think they're here helping us out. Come on, I'll show you the backstage, Kurt. This is the start of our dressing room. Guys change in here. Got some costumes here, mirrors, as you can see all over. We got to see what we look like. And then in here, gets a little more official. Sit down. Put your makeup on, if you need any. I don't normally need any. Let's get ready in here, and then you come out of here and you take to the stage. A lot of time, actors spend a lot of time back here shooting the stuff. And hang out back here, get ready. It's a small room, which makes it very intimate and personal. As you can see, are you looking at me in here? Hello. And we always have hand sanitizer because actors are very dirty and germ-filled. So we always keep it so you can get your germs off before you go out. It'd take you anywhere in the country and you'll find just as small and cramped a space for actors because we're not treated very well most of the time as far as where they hide us. I just did a little thing in New York City with me and an actress from here that took a piece that was originally submitted to my Playwrights Festival. We did it in New York City off 8th Avenue, 8th and 46th or 7th and 46th, in a little theater in a building that had like 10 theaters in it, and we were stuck literally in what looked like a boxed-in hallway with the casts of 6 other shows. So this would be like the Taj Mahal compared to where we found ourselves. But you do what you're going to do. If you want to perform, you take the lumps. And then I just hit this switch right here, Curtis. No matter where, of comfort no men speak. There's talk of graves, of worms, of epitaphs. Make dust our paper, and with rainy eyes write sorrow on the bosom of the earth. Let us choose executors and talk of wills, and yet not so. For what have we to bequeath except our deposed bodies to the ground, our land, our lives, and all our Bolingbrookes? And we have nothing to call our own, except a small model of the barren earth which shall serve as cover and paste to our bones. God's sake, let us sit upon the ground and tell the sad stories of the death of kings. How some have been deposed, some slain in war, some haunted by the ghosts that they've deposed, some poisoned by their wives, some sleeping killed, all murdered. For within that hollow crown that rounds the mortal temples of a king, keeps death his court. And there the antic sits, scoffing at his state, grinning at his pomp, allowing him a breath, a little scene, to monarchize, to kill with looks, filling him with vain conceit, as if this flesh which was about our life were brass impregnable, and humoured thus, comes at last, and with a little pin bores through the castle wall. And farewell, king. Cover your heads and mock not flesh and blood with solemn reverence. Throw away respect, tradition, form, and ceremonious duty, but because you have but mistook me all this while. I live with bread like you. Feel want, taste grief, need friends. Subjected thus, how can you say to me that I am a king? We're professionals without even trying.
That's right. Well, we showed everybody the whole theater, and
Yeah, all the way from the basement to the ceiling.
we got to see some of your fine acting.
Boy, thank you for that. Hadn't done that in years. That was a heck of an opportunity for me.
Yeah.
I have some hope for the future.
And what was that? It was
Richard II by
II.
William Shakespeare. Yes.
Richard II.
Yeah. Scared into learning that many years ago. So
Okay.
fear is a powerful tool for the actor.
Is it?
Oh yes. Yeah. But you don't want to be terrible, so it makes you work harder.
I
Try it
guess
out.
I just don't care if I'm
Try it out sometime.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Tim.
My pleasure, Curtis. Thanks for coming by. And folks, come on down to No Theater and see what we're trying to do here.
74 Carroll Street.
Yes, we're trying to change our city, and hopefully you can be part of that by coming to see our shows.
More information at notheater.org.
Exactly.
KNOWTHEATRE.org.
Bingo. Beautiful. Thank you. It's the true story of Daniel and the lion's den. Daniel burst into the courtroom and said, "Where's the queen?" The queen's in bed with Syphilis. Syphilis, that Greek bastard. Is he still here? 1,001 angry steps later, he burst into the queen's bedroom. "Roll over. I'll be fucked up if you do. You'll be cornhole if you don't. What about the children?" "Fuck the children." "You'd fuck a child?" "I'd fuck a chicken. You foul fucker, you." This displeased the king, so he had Daniel thrown in the lion's den. He had a lion on the left nut, lion on the right nut. He grabbed the left lion by the right nut and the right lion by the left nut. He clanged the two together. This pleased the king, so he called for Daniel to come forth. But Daniel's a slow fucker. He came fifth. When he finally did come forth, he stepped on shit. The shit flew at random. Random was a quick fucker. He ducked. Shit hit the king in the face. The king said, "Oh shit," and 40,000 law subjects dropped their drawers and squatted because the word of the king was law.